multiple times this Lal Chowk area has come under attack, be it the grenade attacks, be it the Fidain attack, and that is why particularly J&K police back in the meeting decided to rope in NSG commandos to ensure the safety and security ahead of the crucial G20 meeting in Srinagar.
Welcome everyone. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. In a setback for West Bengal Government, the Supreme Court of India has made some strong observations while lifting the ban on the film The Kerala Story in the state. The court believes the ban order suffered from overbreadth and was not based on any material produced before the court. A bench headed by the CGI also directed Tamil Nadu government to ensure all security arrangements at theatres so that the film can be screened. Representing the producer, senior advocate Harish Salve argued the West Bengal government had pointed out just 13 incidents where the person believed that the film could cause riots. He even argued that in Tamil Nadu, multiplex owners are pulling back a film which is otherwise houseful, which clearly shows that it wasn't because of low public response. On the other hand, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, representing the Bengal government, argued the ban order was just to prevent a future breach of peace as the demographic profile of the state is very different. The Chief Justice of India observed that the exercise of power has to be proportional and any kind of intolerance cannot be tolerated. When the government and the police highlighted the 32,000 figure in the trailer and even in the movie, the CGI directed the filmmakers to put a disclaimer that this is not an authentic data. The CGI even warned the producers and by large the entire community that as much as the court protects freedom of speech, the filmmakers or any form of art cannot vilify a community. So is this another win for fundamental rights of the public and freedom of expression of artists? We'll take that to our special guest joining us in just a bit, but let me take you through the key takeaways from the Supreme Court verdict today. So the biggest takeaway is that the ban on the film The Kerala Story will now have to be lifted in the state of West Bengal. West Bengal government's ban order, the court says, wasn't tenable on the basis of material produced in court. Takeaway 3, security has to be beefed up at cinema halls in Tamil Nadu where there was a de facto ban on this film. A film cannot be used to vilify a community, as I mentioned, is another big statement coming in from the court. And takeaway 5, fundamental rights are not dependent on public emotion. So there's a fundamental right of people to be able to watch this movie that cannot be denied just because some people may erupt in some sort of an emotional response. In fact, let me break down some of the important arguments and back and forth that took place in the court today, which will give you an idea not just of where each side stood, but also what the court felt. So the filmmakers mentioned that the teaser, which mentioned the figure of 32,000 women missing, has already been taken down. This figure keeps coming back to haunt the film and the filmmakers. But the West Bengal police to this objected to it, saying that the movie still mentions this figure, which has been a big bone of contention. Now, the West Bengal government objected to the fact that there's been a public display of emotion because of this movie. They added that they don't have a problem if people watch at home, for example, on OTT. To this, the CGI argued that fundamental rights cannot be left dependent on public display of emotions. West Bengal government also argued that there is a public order and preventative power of the state government under which they've taken a call to ban this film. To this too, the CGI countered by saying that Section 6, which gives the state this power, cannot be used to put premium on public intolerance. West Bengal government said that intelligence reports suggested to them that there was a serious threat to public order, as we've mentioned before. But CGI questioned them and asked them if they are basing this entire report on just 13 people and what they say. Because fundamentally, there have been no disturbances on ground in West Bengal or even other states. Then West Bengal government also argued that the demographics of the state are very different to other parts of the country, so that should be considered. The CGI countered this by saying that demographics cannot be the same everywhere, but there should be a proportional application of the state's power. The CGI did raise the issue of the figure of 32,000 though and called it misleading. To this, the filmmakers said that they will now clarify in their disclaimer that there is in fact no authentic data available as far as the number of women missing is concerned. So first up on Plain Speak today, the big Kerala story storm. This ban has been lifted in West Bengal. Is this a fundamental win for fundamental rights and also freedom of expression?
The Honorable Chief Minister took a call because she is the administrative head of her state and she knows best what is best for her state.
They started asking questions first, then they will confuse us and then criticizing our religion, our customs, rituals, everything, and slowly inject their dangerous ideology to our brain.
सच्चाई की एक इतना पावर है ना, इतना पावर है सच्चाई की, आप कुछ भी कर लीजिए, जिस दिन वो अपने कटघरा में खड़ा किया जाएगा ना, सच्चाई जीतेगा। तो इनकी स्टोरी जो दुनिया सुनने के लिए सुनना चाहिए था, ये इंसानियत की तौर पे आज सुने।
हम पहले दिन से समझते थे कि कठिनाइयाँ आएंगी, बट अगर हमारी ये जिम्मेदारी है कि हम इन लड़कियों की कहानी को लोगों के सामने ले आएं, तो फिर कोई कठिनाई मायने नहीं रखती।
I want to go across to Vani Tripathi, who's a CBFC board member currently. Vani, thanks a lot for your time. Would you say that this order by the Supreme Court is a win for the film industry, especially artists and their freedom of expression via movies or any form of art?
Well, I've always said that the jurisprudence of this country has always stood for the creative freedom of filmmakers and writers, and also for, the proactivism that you always see in the judiciary in India has always protected the rights of creative intellectuals. But having said that, I think this judgment also goes beyond and says something that I said, Shivani, very much on your channel the day the whole controversy around Kerala files, Kerala stories broke out. Where I said that after the Central Board of Film Certification has certified a film, then despite the fact that we are a federal democracy, it is undemocratic on the part of the state government to put a ban on the film, because the CBFC, under the Cinematograph Act of 1952, is formulated by the Constitution of India.
Right.
So this means that there is no respect, there is no honor for the very fact that CBFC is the prime body which only works for certification of theatrical releases of films. That means there is no honor for the system. There is no honor for the Constitution of India. Yes, it's a big day and another leap forward in, protecting the freedom of the film industry, of creative minds, of filmmakers. But let's also say that justice has been served.
Okay.
Also, you have seen in the last 2 weeks the amount of amazing response the film has gotten. That itself, I think, full marks to my dear friend Vipul Shah, that, despite all the heartburn and all the difficulty he faced to, find release of the film, despite the CBFC certification, I think he stands vindicated. The film industry stands vindicated.
All right. I do want to ask you a follow-up on that. You talked about the CBFC's position and how it's undemocratic to then, after their certification, ban a movie. But this isn't the first time this has happened. This will possibly not be the last time. I do want to ask you, though, that this judgment will then be another precedent, because there are precedents in the past too, where the position of the CBFC is going to be maintained and honored. And would you say this will serve as a reminder to other governments to not indulge in these bans in the future?
Well, frankly, the CBFC would never want that despite certifying a film, any film should land in the court, whether it's the High Court or the Supreme Court. because we should be the last ladder of certification before the film, gets out in the theaters. I think more than the CBFC itself, I said the other day also on your show that the whole board gets disappointed for the kind of hard work we do each day to, uphold creative freedom in the country.
Okay.
I know there have been controversies in the past related to CBFC also, but I think in the past few years, this is the first time there is a board where every single member belongs to the film industry or the theatre world or to the writing world or to literature or to music and so on. So now, of course, there is a board which is highly sensitive towards the needs, of filmmakers and also to sensitive subjects, We are a hypersensitive democracy after all. And I would not pretend to say otherwise. We do have sensitive zones, minority rights, rights of women, rights of children, which always need to be upheld. But I think, yes, you're right. It does, it should send out a signal to all those people who have some kind of totalitarianism in their minds, and they think that creative freedom is some kind of a coin which they can put in their pocket and run away.
Okay.
After all, there is a law of the land, there is also the Constitution of India, there is a judiciary, and there is a CBFC. We all work almost in tandem with each other. And somebody who wishes to, put a part of tangent, in opposition to it, I think the judiciary is there. This is a good rap on the knuckles, of the state government, which thought that it will get away with it, and it will get away with it easily.
Okay. I also find it hypocritical personally that when we talk about some films and even the question of a public boycott, not bans, we're often reminded about how artists are involved, their livelihoods are involved, but nobody really thought of that when this movie was involved and a ban on it was involved in one state. The reason I also bring this up is, Vani, because I spoke to Vipul when they went to court to challenge this ban, and he was very anxious that even if the ban is uplifted, what about the days they lose, the revenue they lose, the number of people who don't get to watch it, become frustrated and go to pirated versions. So as an artist yourself, would you like to talk about that aspect, which, sometimes people bring up, they don't bring up on other occasions, which is, a political convenience, but the hardships that the industry or the filmmakers or the artists go when such an action is taken?
Shivani, it's a very good question and full marks to you, because I also know you as a journalist from your past avatars, and how much work you've also done with artists in the past, despite being a political bureau of a big channel now, So very good question. See, the first thing which is very important, I'm also a producer, is that months and years of hard work goes into creating a film. I also, when I certify a film, I'm letting out something personal. I don't generally speak about it. But the process of certification has to be extremely objective. I could have hundreds of opinions in my head when I'm watching a film, whether the film is good or bad creatively. I literally have to throw out all those when I'm certifying a film, because I only have to objectively look at the certification part, which is called age-related classification. So when all this hard work is going into this, and a producer has to go through this kind of heartburn, remember, it's almost like tender hook. It's not just the revenue that he's lost. Imagine there are also censor boards or certification boards outside the country. The international territory also looks closely at, what's happening in a court of law inside a country with a film where it is produced. I'm in Singapore just now. If I am not correct, if I am not wrong, this Friday, Kerala Story was supposed to release. I think it's still not in the theaters in Singapore.
Okay.
I also remember that, let me take you back to the most controversial and one of the most talked about films of our time. Obviously, a few decades before, probably you and I were in school at that time, Bandit Queen. And I've grown up with Shekhar Kapoor, who's really like family to me. And I know that finally, despite all the opinion which was around the book and the film, and it was the life of somebody who was one of the most famous dacoits of India, and her own story had so much trauma behind it, the reprieve for the film after a whole year of struggle came from the Supreme Court. So no filmmaker, big or small or medium or independent or from a studio, obviously we have so many nomenclatures today in the film industry, should ever go through what Vipul Shah has gone through or what Shekhar Kapoor went through. Imagine Shekhar at that time had problem with CBFC, which finally went into court. This time the CBFC is certified,
But the
and
movie
a
was banned.
vigilante government, I'm sorry I'm using this word, it's undemocratic, it's illegal to do this. And I'm also telling you that this should also set a precedent for any government whatsoever at the federal structure of democracy in our country. If they think that they can stop the public exhibition of a film after a CBFC certificate, then I'm telling you the courts are going to take the same opinion. Let me also tell you that the first reason they gave was law and order.
Yes.
Now, law and order is whose responsibility? When you and I go into a theatre and watch a film, a 500-seater, a 1,000-odd seater, a 100-odd seater, we go with the trust that our lives are secure because the law of the land of that state has taken it upon themselves that that theatre will remain secure. Tomorrow, if you will come back and you will say, oh, I'm fearing law and order, which means you have no control of law and order in your own state. Because now, see, for the past 2 weeks, the film is successfully running all over the country. Nothing has happened. There is no untoward incident which has happened. If this was what was your question, then what happened elsewhere? Which means that you are also conceding almost a defeat, that you are not capable enough of securing the people of your land.
Okay.
Also within the order which I just read before I came on your show, the Supreme Court very clearly says that all theatres will be provided security by the government, you know, when the film finally releases in theatres. Now, I hope this doesn't become an ego tussle between, the Honorable Chief Minister of a state and, despite the rap on the knuckles from the Supreme Court, I hope, and I congratulate Vipul Shah and his team, and I hope the film successfully gets a release in West Bengal, and people will decide the fate of the film, as I said that day also.
Right.
It is not upon us. It is also not upon a critic. It is not also upon an analyst. We are a democracy. Let people decide what they wish to see and what they wish to throw.
That's exactly the message from the court. And Vani, as I thank you, I just hope that there are no events now that take place in West Bengal that seek to either disrupt this movie or bring it into disrepute. It will now be the responsibility of all state governments to ensure that people watching this film, people who want to watch this film, people who come out of the theatres are all secure, and nobody is allowed to use that hurt sentiment business or disrupt law and order to bring the film into disrepute now. I thank Vani Tripathi for joining us. I'm moving away to the big action that is taking place in Karnataka now. Finally, as far as the Congress is concerned, the Karnataka CM battle was ended. Siddaramaiah was officially announced as the next Chief Minister of the state and DK Shivkumar as the deputy. A CLP meet has been called for this evening in Bengaluru. The story, though, wouldn't end there. The Congress party has just resolved the CM conundrum. Next task is to pick the cabinet ministers. Many are expecting that they were expecting that there will be multiple deputy chief ministers, but that hasn't happened. So now leaders will start expecting cabinet berths, and everybody is after what is, quote, become the lingo, plum portfolio. Congress sources have told CNN News18 that there might be 20 to 30 ministers and all leaders from different communities will be inducted. The situation, remember, is similar to what happened in Rajasthan 5 years ago, where Sachin Pilot was credited for Congress's victory in the state, but Chief Minister's post went to Ashok Gehlot. Pilot was made the deputy. Since then, even that rotational formula hasn't kicked in, and that's the story in Chhattisgarh too. So the question definitely arises, will DK Shivkumar truly be happy with this decision? Can Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar actually work together peacefully? Will this truce prevail between the two, not just for the next 1 year till 2024, but for the duration of this government? Now, just before that official announcement, these are pictures on your screen. Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar met the Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge at his residence. They clicked a winning team picture together. Of course, this is to project unity within the Karnataka unit. Let's talk about the formula that has been announced by the Congress party. So Siddaramaiah is to take the oath as the Chief Minister of Karnataka. DK Shivkumar will be the deputy now and the only deputy, even though earlier he was resisting even this post. DK Shivkumar though will continue as the KPCC president till 2024. We are being told the oath-taking ceremony will now be held in Bengaluru on May 20 in the afternoon. Meanwhile, a rebellion of sorts has started in Karnataka with two other tall leaders of the Congress party raising notes of disapproval and disappointment. G. Parmeshwara, Congress's Dalit face, is unhappy after he has missed out on both the Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister's post. Remember, this is the third time that he can feel he has been denied a Chief Minister's post. Meanwhile, MB Patil, Lingayat face of the Congress party, is also dejected after he was overlooked for the deputy post. He shot off a warning of sorts that Congress needs to take all communities together. In fact, G. Parmeshwara gave a similar reaction. Let's listen in.
No, I deserve the Chief Minister. Why only Deputy Chief Minister? But at least if the party has to take everybody together, run up to the parliament election, everybody should together work for that. And I am sure the High Command knows that.
The big question we're debating next, as the Chief Minister is set, Siddaramaiah has won, but will this truce prevail between the two warring leaders?
We had made a one-line resolution that whatever the High Command will take a decision, we will abide by it. Ultimately, Rahul ji called me and said, you all have to work together. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge ji called us and gave this dikat. We all have accepted whatever the formula has been generated.
The only rotation formula or power formula is service of the people as servants of the people.
Our party is the party who believe in consensus, not in dictatorship.
Question is exactly what placated DK Shivkumar, who was not agreeing to being a deputy or even a power sharing formula. Now, Congress sources tell us it has happened because the Gandhis called him and specifically Sonia Gandhi gave assurances to him. Meanwhile, while the Congress may not say so on record, off record there could be an understanding that DK Shivkumar may be made Chief Minister after 2024, after the 2024 general elections. On this and more, I want to go across to my colleagues, Senior Editor Pallavi Ghosh and my colleague Harish Upadhyay, joining us from Delhi and Bengaluru respectively. Pallavi, I'm coming to you first up because everybody is wondering exactly what would have convinced DK Shivkumar suddenly when he was not agreeing to either power sharing or a deputy position. So as your sources are telling us, could it be, they're not saying this publicly, but behind closed doors, there's an understanding that once 2024 general elections are done, they could change the Chief Minister?
Well, I mean, the indications are certainly there, though when we act a press conference, I specifically asked this question to Mr. K.C. Venugopal. He's saying the only rotation of power is going to be with the people of Karnataka. There's no question of a rotation of power. They've said it on record. But, you know, we did not even ask him this question, but on his own, he made the point that he's going to continue to remain the Congress chief till the Lok Sabha elections, which means the importance of Shiv Kumar till Lok Sabha elections is definitely there. Also, the Congress doesn't want to rock the boat. See, for argument's sake, if today they had announced a rotation system, one, I guess it would have made Siddaramaiah and his camp a little jittery. Second, the perception within the Congress top leadership is it would have made him look weak. I mean, after all, who would want to listen to a chief minister who's going to be around for only 2.5 years? And third is, as Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh, and more so I would say Rajasthan example shows that tug of war, that Noora Kushti will always be taking place and it would never be actually a peaceful coexistence. So you put a lid on that speculation as of now. You put the concentration on the governance, fulfillment of those 5 guarantees, and of course a focus on the Lok Sabha elections.
Can I ask you, Pallavi, before I go to Harish also, is DK truly happy or he's just biting the bullet for now, hoping that after 2024 the situation is going to change?
Well, for a man who's not usually very reticent, he was really very, very restrained. He kept on saying that I'm not going to talk about what happened behind the scenes, who called me up, who convinced me, but I'm ready to make this sacrifice once again. I guess he is disappointed. I mean, his brother certainly said it very openly that, you know, I wish he had become the chief minister. See, a man who wanted to become a CM has to settle for becoming a deputy CM. Obviously, he would be unhappy.
Harish, I'm coming to you. I have questions about the swearing-in ceremony that is being planned. But before that, what's the situation like on ground, within the supporter camps of both these leaders?
Well, just look at how things change, right, in politics. We are outside DK Shivkumar's house. Just remember and recollect the visuals that we saw on counting day here, and immediately after that, even before he headed to Delhi, the moment that now news has come out that he'll be a deputy chief minister and Siddaramaiah is the man who will become the chief minister, you don't see too many people here. Yes, he's not around. He's yet to land at HL in Bengaluru. But the party workers kind of gravitate towards where power is. That's natural. And you see a lot more people outside Siddaramaiah's house. And this is something that will play out for the next 2.5 years. This power tussle, this optics, that will be there. Every decision that's taken will be scrutinized. Every statement that will be made by these two leaders will be scrutinized to see if they're taking a jibe at the other. And this government will have to live with that. Remember, it wasn't easy for the government when it was a coalition government between the Congress and the JDS. Now it's a single party government, but then those issues will still remain because you will have two power centers, a chief minister who perhaps has been told by the High Command that he would be here only for 2.5 years.
No.
He will always look for options to extend the tenure, while DK Shivkumar will always try to come back and ensure.
You know, I find this really remarkable, Harish. I was going to ask you exactly this. You said 2.5 years. So was that a Freudian slip, or is it that while the Congress is not accepting this on record, off record, there's a power sharing formula? And is it till 2024 for 1 year or for 2.5 years?
Well, the word from at least one of these camps here is that it's 2.5 years. They've been told that after 2.5 years, Siddaramaiah will step down and DK Shivkumar would become the chief minister. It's not just the Lok Sabha election. There are a whole list of local body elections that need to take place. There's a BBMP election that needs to take place. And post which DK Shivkumar would take over. That's what the assurance has come in. They've also been told very clearly that both of them will not talk about it in public. There will be no public bickering as well. And we understand Siddaramaiah has been told that whenever there's a major decision that's taken by the government, DK Shivkumar should be taken into confidence.
All right. It looks like the more things change, the more they stay the same in the Congress party. Pallavi, you want to come in very quickly? So this is ultimately a power sharing formula then?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And, you know, Harish is right. I mean, we kept on asking this question repeatedly, but the indications are there. And I suspect post-Lok Sabha elections, there could be trouble in Karnataka. I mean, I'm sure DK Shivkumar would not want to keep quiet. Look, DK Shivkumar is repeatedly making the point that the 135 seats that they've got is also largely been because of his own effort. If the Congress party actually does very well from Karnataka Lok Sabha elections, he's going to flex its muscles. If the Congress party loses out at the centre once again and comes up with a very poor performance, it's going to make the central leadership look weak and we're going to be vulnerable. In fact, the vulnerability of the Congress High Command is one of the main reasons why we saw the power sharing not take place in Chhattisgarh as well as Rajasthan.
Okay, I'll leave it at that. Pallavi Ghosh and Harish Upadhyay, thanks a lot for joining us. But before we go across to some more special guests joining us, take a look at this report by my colleague Harish about the preparations ongoing before the swearing in.
The swearing-in ceremony of Karnataka's next Chief Minister Siddaramaiah is likely to be a grand affair with thousands of his supporters expected to take part in the ceremony, many of them coming from different parts of Karnataka. At the same time, the Congress party wants to send across a strong message about opposition unity on the same stage. Chief ministers of various states, including M.K. Stalin of Tamil Nadu and other states, along with Congress-ruled state chief ministers, are likely to be invited for the swearing-in to send across a strong message to the BJP ahead of the Lok Sabha elections. Interestingly, all eyes will be on Congress party to see how many ministers take oath alongside Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar, and if they can ensure that both the camps are happy, and if all around 20 to 30 seats of cabinet ministers can be decided in the short span of time.
Speaking of Karnataka and possibly an uneasy truce between the two tall leaders of the Congress party, I want to go across to Veerappa Moily, former Karnataka Chief Minister, also joining us. Mr. Moily, thanks a lot for your time. The fundamental question on everybody's mind will be that will a truce and a healthy working relationship exist between these two leaders after what has happened? Because they very publicly staked their claim and fought a battle to be the Chief Minister. For now, it's Mr. Siddaramaiah. Could they work together?
Yeah, you know, the Congress is a very strong party with an excellent governance record in the state. And whenever we ran the government, you know, we always ran the government for a full 5 years. There was no break. And there is a recent record when Siddaramaiah ran the government for full 5 years, and he gave the stability to the government. He has a proven record of a strongest leadership, proven record of the best governance, proven record that he transformed the government into a poor man's government. You know, this is the proven record which the Congress has got. And you know, all these 5 years, when we fought, all of us fought, you know, it is the collective effort and with the collective leadership that the entire Congress fought against the BJP. Because BJP is they have grown big because of the central government, and they have grown big because they wanted to polarize the politics of Karnataka. And you know, with that giant, we fought unitedly. I don't say that there was a division, and you know, they all fought, went together, and you know, sent that strong message of unity in the party. Today, just because 2-3 days time, you know, they could not settle the leadership issue, that doesn't mean, you know, that the instability is reflected. No, it is all, you know, all these people who are opposed to Congress principles, ideologies, they spread this canard, which is not correct at all. I know I have run the government as a chief minister, as a finance minister, and you know, many positions in Karnataka. And you know, for more than 55 years I have the experience, and with that experience and with that background, we all worked with Devaraj Aras, I worked with Virendra Patil, I worked with Bangarappa, I worked with Gundu Rao and many leaders, and we worked, and even in the government of India we worked. And with my experience, I can always tell you that Karnataka always witnessed a good governance, stable governance, and also the governance for the poor and social justice is concerned. I think Congress has given the best to Karnataka.
Okay.
And even with regard to the industrial development, governance, other things are concerned, I don't think, you know, any other party could break the record which was established by the Indian National Congress.
Okay.
So in that way, we can always see a future of 5 years governance. Of course, all this talk of power sharing, this and that, that it may be an internal matter of the party.
I was going to come exactly to that. Veerappa Moily, I was going to come to exactly to that because the power sharing public formulas have not worked for the Congress party. Do you believe that this time around they've had an off-record understanding with the leaders, behind the scenes understanding, but ultimately they'll have to give DKS something?
That is the only the... No, but the question is this power sharing, other formula is only with the TV and channels. But it has not been, that idea is not been pronounced by the Congress party. In the absence of that, you know, the strong leader like Siddaramaiah and assisted ably by Shivakumar and the excellent team which we have lined up today, I think they will be in a position to give a very stable government, strong government, and a governance for the state, and also the social justice system will be definitely properly given to the people of Karnataka. So that case, I don't think, you know, one can herald any doomsday for the Congress or for Karnataka. I think Karnataka will look for the better future. They always go for the best governance and ever given in Karnataka in these days.
Okay, you know, obviously nobody really fears that the government is going to be not stable because of the mandate that the Congress has got, even if there were issues. But as you know, Mr. Moily, that, you know, ambitions don't die, and it looks like DK Shivkumar, who was not even willing to accept the deputy position and a power sharing agreement, has been, you know, has been assured something. Only then he would have relented. And then, of course, he has also staked the claim saying that I'm the one who worked to get these 135 MLAs elected in the state. Don't you feel it's a little unfair on him to remain deputy for the entire term?
In that case, many people, you know, we have done a lot of unfair play on many leaders. You know, Karnataka has seen many veterans. And, you know, they have, you know, even when I was elected as by the majority of the MLAs as a leader of the CLP. And do you know who has proposed my name? It is S. Bangarappa, who stood up and proposed my name. So this is a kind of a democratic polity which is always played by the Congress successfully. And you know, when it comes to the ultimate decision of the people, MLAs and also the High Command, any leader worthy name, if he is a congressman, he will definitely adjust and work with the governance, and he will not, you know, I don't think, you know, there is fairness or unfairness among, there are a number of leaders. In that case, you may say that there are more than 50 leaders who are fit to be chief minister, even in the people who are elected.
Okay.
But do you think that all the 50 people can be accommodated by turns? No, it cannot be. But there is always a discipline in the party, and with that, Congress is known for that, and Congress has veterans who have put in, you know, 50 years, 40 years, 30 years of service and able service, stable service. So they will be in a position to manage things, and I am very confident that this government will be a most stable government and run for 5 years without any, and to top all these things, Siddaramaiah is the strongest leader. I don't think, you know, you can buy.
So you're saying he can ably handle even if there are certain problems as far as running the government is concerned. Veerappa Moily, my final question to you.
No,
you are
problems
exuding.
will be there when the men are there. It's a dynamic society.
Sure.
It's when a dynamic society, it is also Congress is also a dynamic party. It's not a dictatorial party run by one party, you know, one man like Narendra Modi. No, we are not run like this. We are most democratic way in which they conducted this ultimate approval for the leadership will demonstrate the fact this is all done, and they have bowed down to the democratic ethos of the party and the MLAs.
Okay.
So this
I think fundamentally it would have been the MLA's word as well, Mr. Moily.
Positive message has to go down to the people.
Fundamentally it would have been the MLA's approval too, and we were, of course, we were told that Siddaramaiah had the majority of the MLAs backing him, and maybe that's why DK has had to relent. My final question to you, you are exuding a lot of confidence that there wouldn't be any internal instability. You're confident that Karnataka will not go the Rajasthan way? Sir, Rajasthan, we know what happened. Chhattisgarh, we know what happened. You're confident Karnataka will not go that way?
Rajasthan, Rajasthan way, it will go according to Karnataka way, when we have the big, long, stable history of Indian National Congress governing the state for 5 full years. And this alone can deliver goods and not any other party. He is a democratically elected leader, but all the MLAs have, you know, majority of the MLAs elected Siddaramaiah. They are not imposed by the High Command, like what Narendra Modi has practiced every state. And, you know, this is the example. And this government, the launching of the government tomorrow under the leadership of Siddaramaiah will be definitely an open platform to launch definitely a positive trend in favor of the opposition parties as against Narendra Modi.
All right, I'll leave it at that. Veerappa Moily, thanks a lot for joining us. Congressmen very confident that this is going to be a stable government. There won't be any rocking issues as far as the two leaders are concerned. Let's also open this up to our other guests joining us. I have with me Ashok Gowda, who's the BJP spokesperson. Arshpreet Kadiyal is from the Congress party. Sanjay Jha, political analyst, is with us. B.S. Arun is senior journalist from the state of Karnataka. Sanjay Jha, why don't I begin with you once again? Will Karnataka go the Rajasthan way or no? Because ambitions don't die like this. And do you suspect that DKS will have to be accommodated eventually, maybe post 2024, or let's say even after 2.5 years, even if the Congress doesn't say so openly?
Well, Shivani, I think the good news is that the Congress party, I think, has handled this remarkably well. Both the leaders are titans. Both of them have performed brilliantly to give Congress a very emphatic victory. Both of them have a very legitimate right to believe that they ought to have been holding the premier position of being the chief minister. But, end of day, politics is about accommodation. And I can tell you one thing, Shivani, knowing how politics works at the ground level, that all politicians at the end of the day are very pragmatic, practical people. I think they all recognize that, today, if the Congress party has done well, DK has played a phenomenal role, and Mr. Siddaramaiah remains one of the most popular leaders within the Congress party, I think, across Karnataka. So I think the Congress party has handled this with deftness. I don't think they have taken at all very long time. Look at the BJP's track record. I don't think the BJP is a benchmark, but the Congress has done it well. And most importantly, and I think that for me is the real opportunity for the Congress, that between now and 2024, with the mood beginning to swing, with a lot of people questioning the BJP, not just its vulnerability, but also the political heft of the Prime Minister himself, I think if the Congress can demonstrate good governance over the course of the coming 1 year, I think not only will the Congress do well in Karnataka, but the Congress should use the Karnataka as an example of what the rest of the India can do, not just electorally, but in terms of governance.
Okay, I'll give you this much at least, that, winning is a habit. And when you take tough decisions, but they yield results, like in Karnataka, it happened for the Congress party, it will be easier to sell those decisions and that discipline further. And I think Karnataka in that sense can be a template that, this is how we need to act when we're going into polls. This is how we need to act post-poll. And I think this could be, in that sense, a winning template for the Congress party. But each state can be a little different too. And Lok Sabha and state elections are different ball games. But sticking to what we're discussing today, a CLP meeting is going to be held by the Congress leaders very soon in Bengaluru. We'll get you some live updates. But B.S. Arun, what do you think was the clincher here? How did two people who weren't relenting, suddenly DKS has relented to everything he said he wasn't going to accept? Siddaramaiah has emerged as the clear winner here.
I think the key was the video conference that Sonia Gandhi has had with the Congress leaders, including Shiv Kumar, last night, and that perhaps was the clincher, because Shiv Kumar was not relenting. Over the last 3 to 4 days, we were seeing an unrelenting Shiv Kumar, who took the Karnataka Congress into the winning path along with Siddaramaiah. So he was, demanding that he be given the chief ministership and that he won't accept anything else under this so-called power-sharing agreement. And he has told almost everyone in the Congress party who matter that it was he who led the Congress, from the day of crisis when the party lost the Lok Sabha elections. They could win just one seat out of 28 in 2019. So that was the key. And then, the kind of performance that the Congress got, especially in Old Mysore, the region where Shiv Kumar comes from, and there the Congress did pretty well and did well, better than the Janata Dal, which had been doing which had been showing good performance in that region. So it was because of him that the 5% of the Janata Dal votes came to Congress, and that's a huge show also. Of course, Siddaramaiah has his own charisma and the vote catching ability. He's a mass leader, no doubt. But then contribution of Shiv Kumar also, cannot be looked down upon, because as the president of the Congress party in the state, he is the one who galvanized the party, galvanized the party workers.
We're actually, in fact, getting some visuals. This is from the Bengaluru airport. A lot of people have collected. They're showering petals on DK Shiv Kumar's convoy. And he's waving to the crowd. This is not at his residence, by the way. This is from Bengaluru airport. So clearly some sort of show of strength, or, putting up their leaders on a pedestal is going to happen. Even though DK Shiv Kumar has, eventually turned out to be someone who's lost out on the battle that he was fighting for the Chief Minister's post. Ashpreet Kadial, coming to you. The biggest question in front of the Congress is only this. ये एक म्यान में दो तलवारें नहीं होती हैं. अभी के लिए तो ये फॉर्मूला डिसाइड हो गया है. But can the two continue to work together without any bickering, give a good government, not stable because stability is not a question, but give good government, and will DKS eventually still go for that chief minister's post after, let's say, 2 years? Will you have to relent?
Well, एक म्यान में दो तलवारें हो सकती हैं कि नहीं. I think this question should be first posed to the Bharatiya Janata Party because everybody knows it for a fact. They have been saying, though, they have been repeating the phrase of two in Karnataka. But what about the Bharatiya Janata Party's two in the center? A lot of people haven't been talking about that. But first,
I don't think that both of the people at the center are fighting for the same position. I don't think it's an apples to apples comparison. But anyways, why don't we talk about Congress? These are visuals now coming in of Siddaramaiah landing in Bengaluru. He also has supporters on ground. Looks like these are Congress workers who have gathered to welcome both of their leaders. And Siddaramaiah, who's now the Chief Minister-elect, is also being showered with love and flower petals by the Congress workers. The CLP meeting is about to begin. Of course, these two leaders will be part of that. Yes, Arshpreet, continue.
So, I'd like to congratulate, first of all, the people of Karnataka who have successfully ousted the Bharatiya Janata Party for their years of misrule and mismanagement. Second of all, you see, I feel sorry for the Bharatiya Janata Party that this time their coveted operation, known by the name of Operation Lotus, will not even be feasible because, we have won by a double majority against the Bharatiya Janata Party. Number three, the delay, the so-called delay. I think the BJP has forgotten their past, how much time it took for them to choose the CM in UP.
All of that is over now. Arshpreet, all of that is over now. Nobody's talking about that now. My question to you is, can the two work together and give you a stable, effective government?
Definitely, 100%. If the Bharatiya Janata Party can replace 5 CMs in 7 months and they wouldn't even say a word about it, it does not reflect, companionship or camaraderie. It reflects Danda Tantar, Bhay Tantar, dictatorship. In our party, if leaders can speak, that reflects democracy. That reflects freedom of speech and expression. Dissent is the safety wall of democracy. So let's appreciate if somebody can speak in our party, and let's not appreciate if nobody can speak in the Bharatiya Janata Party.
I don't know why you keep bringing in the BJP. Nobody's comparing this to the BJP.
It is what it is. You talked of Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan.
Yeah, that's Congress rule states.
It is. But just because our leaders can speak freely does not mean that there is something wrong with it. It is wrong.
I don't think, because you brought up Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh, I don't think that that's something that you can say as a blanket for the Congress party. We know what the troubles in Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh have been. We're getting some reactions from Bengaluru as well. We'll cut to them in just a bit.
But Mani would happen to others as well.
Okay, anyways, Ashok Gada, the BJP keeps getting talked about because you've been raising a lot of questions over the Congress party because you, in a way, begrudged their mandate and also the due process that they want to follow.
It is a very happy moment for all of us. Apparently, let's understand. We have been saying that Congress is a split house with two doors open. That is one led by Siddaramaiah and another led by DK Shivakumar. That's what was showcased for all these 4 days from last Saturday afternoon till today. So that leaving that apart, and I was just listening to Veerap Moily and as well as my co-panelist in this panel. So they don't know probably the Veerap Moily has forgotten how he was elected as a chief minister. And there was there an electoral process? Apparently, he has forgotten that his name came through a lakote. Lakote means the covered envelope, and the name was read, and including the Bangarappa was made a CM in the airport. And Congress history has never been democratical, including the book written by Ghulam Nabi Azad says it pin to pin how Congress has destroyed the democracy, internal democracy as well as external democracy. I'm not saying this is said by Ghulam Nabi Azad, who has worked in Congress for almost 5 decades, and he has clearly stated what are the examples why Congress cannot be called democratical. I agree that we took 9 days when electing Yogi Adityanath ji as a CM. Yes, but there was no dispute or anything. There was nothing like claiming. But we wanted to make sure that UP gets the best chief minister who can maintain the law and order and who can maintain the issues of UP, because 23 crore people, one state, with diverse issues happening in UP. That is the only reason we took
All
9
right.
days.
In any case,
But
I think all of these comparisons are now moot. The government is going to be formed in Karnataka. It is going to be a stable Congress government because I don't think that the numbers are in any kind of distress. The only question, Sanjay Jha, which I'm repeating, is whether Congress can walk this tightrope. I don't think the tightrope has ended for them because, you know, emissions wouldn't die down for the next 5 years. And whether Congress can avoid a repeat of Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh in Karnataka. Only on that point, Sanjay Jha.
Shivani, let me assure you, for the Congress party, the victory in Karnataka is not just about beating the BJP, but it opens up doors to the possibilities of actually working with the opposition parties to take on the BJP and, you know, expose its fragility in terms of governance, the kind of polarization they have done across the country. So you'll find significant stake here. And let me make a point. Mr. Kharge, who happens to be the Congress president, I think providentially enough, also belongs to Karnataka. So, you know, today the Congress is going to make Karnataka, in my opinion, an experiment, a test case of what the Congress can do, which the BJP cannot match. And
But
therefore,
Sanjay, can I just ask you, I sense a lot of fixation over Karnataka, and fair enough, you've got a big mandate there, you've got 2024 coming in. But there are other states that the Congress rules that are going to polls next. Focus on Rajasthan, focus on Chhattisgarh. You cannot be fixated on the Karnataka alone for the next 1 year.
Absolutely. Shivani, I'm not going to deny that the Rajasthan issue needs to be resolved. It's been delayed for far too long. I'm not going to deny that there are going to be egos in politics, and this is part of the intra-party dynamics. But I want to make one point here. I always believe, and I'm not quoting Sun Tzu in The Art of War, but the winner must show grace and humility. I think the Congress has shown that. But let me also tell the BJP, I heard Mr. Gowda speak, when you lose, I think it is also important to demonstrate an appreciation of the fact that you have been told by the people to be in the opposition. Also, you need to demonstrate some degree of decency here. You know, running down the Congress and making all these nasty comments that the government will fail is ridiculous. This will boomerang further against the BJP.
Fair enough, fair enough. I have limited time. Let me give B.S. Arun 30 seconds and two of our other guests also. B.S. Arun, what are the pitfalls here for the Congress party? Or is it now everything is sorted out? There are no cracks to be papered over?
No, not at all. The next immediate challenge will be the cabinet formation.
Yes.
You know, in Karnataka, there are several veteran Congress leaders who have got elected in this assembly, and then comes you know, the issue of caste balance will come, the issue of regional balance will come. So it's going to be a Herculean task, and also the followers of D.K. Shivakumar, followers of Siddaramaiah, who has to be given how many? You know, all these things will come. I think the cabinet formation
will be the next crucial benchmark.
It's a bigger challenge.
It's a bigger challenge, certainly, because they've also gone for just one deputy chief minister. Ashpreet, because it is the Congress's day, I just want to give you 30 seconds. But please, please respond to the question that I'm asking, which Sanjay Jha was also talking about, that you've got other problems that you have to deal with. You cannot just keep soaking in the euphoria and, you know, basking in the glory of Karnataka alone. For 2024, there are bigger challenges.
Of course, the first challenge is that the Bharatiya Janata Party has created a big house of cards on the basis of false promises, on the basis of lies. This house of cards has already started to crumble, and you'll see it'll vanish by the time 2024 arrives. Number two, it's not just Karnataka. It was Himachal before it. It was then the Shimla Corporation, then the Jalandhar by-election. BJP has been losing it all. Delhi MCD. So the Bharatiya Janata Party's time has come. And number two, you talked of, how the CMs are being chosen, etc. What's been happening. Till date in Karnataka, only 3 CMs have been able to have a full term. And those 3 have been from the Congress party.
Fair enough. The Congress has anyways always had the lion's share of the vote share in Karnataka. This time that saw a massive jump as well, but at the cost of the JDS. Let's not forget the BJP vote share was also intact. I leave it at that. All of those analysis has been done. I thank our guests for joining us. We're slipping into a very short break, but as the visuals from Bengaluru suggest, that CLP meeting is about to suggest in a few minutes, begin in a few minutes from now. On the other side, we'll get you some live updates.
Ma'am, if you can calm down and hear me for 10 seconds, nobody has a problem with you taking 5 days or 10 days or even a month. The problem is it's all happening in front of the cameras. People are coming out and making statements in front of the cameras. Laddus are being given in front of the
you've asked me
cameras.
something.
Firecrackers are being burst in front of the cameras.
Please
Why is
allow
all
me
this
to
happening in the
respond to
public
that.
domain?
Okay. So, there's nothing wrong in celebration. Now, please allow me to answer. What is happening? There is consultation that is happening. We have got a decisive mandate and we are committed.
Okay, I apologize for the bad audio with our Congress guest. We'll try and fix it in a moment and then get her back on. But I believe Mr. Vaidyanathan is also staying with us. What I want to know is a very simple question, Mr. Vaidyanathan. In the normal course of things, if a leader gets the support of the majority of MLAs, then automatically he or she lays claim to become the leader of the legislature party, and in this case, because it's the winning party, the chief minister. Why is that simple rule not good enough in this case? Doesn't the Congress party seriously risk alienating some of the people at least who gave it this historic mandate, this large mandate? You've taken 4 days and this whole thing is playing out in public, not like in the BJP where it happens in private. Wouldn't some of those people be disillusioned? I mean, if these two leaders were able to keep their ambitions in check for 3 months or 6 months, the better part of the campaign, why can't they do it now?
Well, good evening to all your viewers, and the answer is clearly no. If you look at history or even the history of some of the recent state elections, in 2017, when there was an election in UP, and there were 3 contenders, I think Manoj Sinha, Kesab Maurya, and Mr. Yogi, and it took more than 7 days to come to a consensus and to come to a decision. And after that, Mr. Yogi was sworn in as the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. As recently as in 2021, if you look at the state assembly elections of Assam, a very similar thing happened. There was a delay of 8 days because there was this conflict between Hemant Biswa Sharma and Mr. Sonowal. And I think it took about 7 to 8 days before a consensus could be arrived. And after that, Hemant Biswa Sharma was sworn in. And it has been what, like 3 or 4 days after the election results were out in Karnataka? So we have had instances of 7 to 8 days in parliament in choosing of the CM. And while I am not trying to make a comment on their internal process, I think this entire frenzy in sections of media and this frenzy being artificially created by the opposition, which is the BJP in this case, is completely uncalled for. We have a democratic process within our political party.
I don't think this is being created by the media. It is playing out in the full public glare, in the media glare. The media can't, walk away from a story when the story is playing in the public domain.
Of course.
But having said that, let me ask RP Singh the point that you made. RP Singh, RP Singh, the point is...
Can I just complete the point?
Yeah, I've heard you. Let me ask the question that you asked about how, in the case of Yogi Adityanath, the BJP took 7 days. In the case of Hemanta Biswa Sharma...
Lacey.
Thanks a lot for staying with us. Let's go across to Bengaluru. DK Shiv Kumar, who's had to relent in this battle with Siddaramaiah, and the latter, who's now the Chief Minister-elect. Both have landed in Bengaluru ahead of the CLP meeting. My colleague Ritu is actually outside Siddaramaiah's residence. Ritu, has he made it there yet? And what's the scene out there?
Well, we are right now outside Siddaramaiah's residence where, I'll try and show you the visuals, how it looks like. The atmosphere is too high. Where you see on the one hand, Siddaramaiah supporters are all here chanting slogans, in fact, for Siddaramaiah, calling him Karnataka's next chief minister. All this while they were also cutting the cake in that happiness. All those you can see all around 360-degree angle, that if we try and pan this camera, you can only find the cutouts of Siddaramaiah, their supporters wishing him all the best this time, where they are hoping a good governance under his leadership also. Meanwhile, you see in the visuals that you can also find how that the security is also stepped up out of his residence, because he now has started from the HIL where he will be reaching his residence. Meanwhile, many leaders are also, Congress MLAs are also coming here to meet him and also congratulate him. So we did try and speak to Rizwan Arshad, the Congress MLA from the Shivaji Nagar Assembly constituency, where he was, he said that, they are very quite happy that Siddaramaiah is finally chosen as as the Chief Minister and DK Shivakumar as the Deputy Chief Minister. Under their leadership is that the party will give a good governance for the people of Karnataka, almost 6.5 crore Kannadigas. But let's try and also get a word from their supporters. Sir, आप यहाँ पर खड़े हैं सिद्धरामैया जी को देखने के लिए?
देखो, नॉट ओनली सिद्धरामैया, आज 6 करोड़ जनता को कितनी आनंद की बात है कि ये जो 40% करप्शन की सरकार, यानी कि चीफ मिनिस्टर बनने के लिए भी पैसा, चांसलर बनने के लिए भी पैसा, गवर्नर बनने के लिए भी करप्शन, ग्रुप 1, ग्रुप 2, ग्रुप 3, ग्रुप 4 आल्सो। तो ग्रुप 4 को भी नहीं छोड़ा, मजदूरों को भी नहीं छोड़ा। 40% करप्शन करने वाली सरकार को इस 135-36 असेंबली जीतकर बम्पर मेजॉरिटी
आप कांग्रेस पार्टी की जीत की खुशी मना रहे हैं। सर, आप क्या कहेंगे सिद्धरामैया जी को देखने के लिए? आप यहाँ पे खड़े हैं उनको कंग्रेचुलेट करने के लिए?
हाँ, जरूर। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल सिद्धरामैया जी और DK शिवकुमार और सभी कांग्रेस कार्यकर्ताओं को कंग्रेचुलेशंस, और ऑल द 6.5 CR people of Karnataka, congratulations. That 40% government which was there, it is past now. It is history. Let's create history by supporting people from scratch. For example, five major points are there. That points will be covered and the people will be happy with it.
Well, you do want the Congress party to work on a lot of those issues. So there you see the Congress party supporters also, they are encouraging Siddharamaiah going and becoming Karnataka's next chief minister. Under his leadership, they are also hoping better schemes to come out for their welfare. Also, DK Shivakumar going on becoming the deputy CM as well. So they are quite happy about this news. But needs to be seen any moment that
some challenges
is going
up
to be
in store for the Congress government, though, which will be sworn in soon. Delivering those guarantees and ensuring that everybody can work together. Also those cabinet berths that have to be distributed. I'll take your leave on that note, but our focus on the Karnataka developments continues.
Good evening, hello and welcome to News Epicenter. I'm Anusha Soni. After a hectic power play, Siddharamaiah has been chosen to be the next Chief Minister for the state of Karnataka. DK Shivakumar will be the only Deputy Chief Minister from the state. A call from Mrs. Sonia Gandhi is said to have sealed the deal between the warring leaders. Both were refusing to blink ever since the election results came out. While sources say that the swearing